plenty of places where you can start on the staircase. But correct method is starting your stairwell. Get rid of the most difficult first. Makes a lot easier access on the staircase. Now some of the tools I'm going to be using. Now, I've got a bucket with some warm soapy water in, a stumpy flat brush and an ordinary flat brush. Got some refuse sacks, a mask, because taking this surface off will create a lot of paper fibres in the air, dust from off the surface of the paper. A good quality scraper, a good heavy blade and a screwdriver just for removing sockets. So it might look quite high, but I want to be able to be working at this at a comfortable level. This is a plaster coving. I don't want to damage it. So first step, when I can find it, take your blade, and then you want to run along the underneath edge of this, being careful not to cut into it. Look for a joint. We just release the paper. Carefully, because you're on your plank, just start to take this off. Scraper. As we're taking the surface off, I want to save as much of this paper as I can, because that'll come in handy for putting down on the floor. Well, that's the paper took off down virtually level with my plank, and then on this back wall I've took the paper off as far down as I can either side, started to draw it off here. I've took it down to the same level as my plank. I've just got a piece sat around, and then this little bit at the back here. So that's it. I can now start wetting in, and when I move my plank I can move my steps over and I can get these bits here and just bring this down. Look back at this, just get off this plank. So there's my access. Okay, you see where I've wet in now and where my paper's down to. So I can start to take that off now, wash the wall and then drop this lot down, get rid of this staircase, this stairwell. But then the landing from the hallway will be straightforward. And if you just let the water do the work, it really is easy to strip off. Never taking too much, and if you take a whole blade it can be harder to take off. Take about 3/4 of the blade, half the blade, much easier to remove. constructing that edge there allows you to take that back nice and neat without damaging this plaster. So there is a little bit of filler that's not needed there. So what we'll do is run around the whole edge and neaten it all off. This is all washed down now. There's just a piece at the back there where my extension ladders were. Move them to one side. I've got my staircase steps here and my plank. This is where my ladders were sitting, so I can just wash and clean this down now. Bring the rest of this wall down. The surface that I stripped off is on the floor now on the staircase, just to help catch some bits, a bit easier to clean up. Every so often as you're working through doing this, you need to change your bucket of water, fresh warm water, soapy water, and plenty of cups of tea. Again, tucking it down to about the level of the plank. Unfortunately, this has only got one backing on it, so it will wet this pretty quick. It'll soak into it and dry fairly fast as well, so you don't really need to leave it too long to soak. Just a few minutes, but just keep putting plenty of water on. With the heat rising on this staircase, it can soon dry off. Already things are getting easier. So I'm going to save some of this paper here. I want this for the handrail. Getting to the bottom of the stairs now. That thermostat on the wall I've covered with a piece of paper just to stop any muck getting in it, because you can see how it's open in a few places. So cover it. And now these staircase steps with 3-in-1 steps, I've now set them so it's free off that wall there, that bulkhead, and I can now strip the remaining paper that's left. Essential for a staircase, these are. So, I mentioned before about this mist coating that's on the wall here. When this paper goes on, it will wet the emulsion and lift it off. So then your paper will be tight on the wall, but it won't be actually stuck to the surface. Like this here. That's emulsion paint. Very powdery. I can literally peel all that off. That's saving a heck of a lot of work. Well, it means I'll have to remove some paint. Definitely. And then some severe gaps along the bottom of here, just exposed. So it looks like all this has been took out in the past and redone, but again it's failed because there's a big void at the back. I can literally start to get my scraper down there. So we'll take a look at all that. Not a lot left to do on this. We'll just take another look at this. I was a bit dubious about this bit of grey plaster running along the bottom here. And when I go into it and I started scraping it off, I've come to that emulsion paint underneath. All this emulsion paint here. So this, somebody's tried to stop this cracking and just plastered straight over. Over the paint here. And that is simply, this cracking is down to, this is the edge of the plasterboard when it's been built and then skimmed over. Obviously it's cracked out and then somebody else has come along and tried to patch over it, but we'll sort that out. That's the staircase freed up. Started stripping the top wall, and as I'm wetting in I can be filling, taking paper off and just carrying on working round. But that's the worst wall out of the way.